What's going on, everybody? Anon here, and it's time for This Week in Distro. So, starting off with Magic the Gathering, and this is Magazine Exchange's specials page. This is public. I start with this every week. Innistrad Remastered. So, the play boosters are fairly readily available across the board. The collector boxes are sold out everywhere except for here. And Magazine Exchange generally holds some boxes back. You can see here they're selling for $269, which is about $30 above what initial distribution was for these guys. Now, Innistrad Remastered is this set that I had talked about a couple times, and quite honestly, just couldn't figure out: is it a good set? Is it a bad set? Is it purgatory? And quite honestly, the short answer is I still don't know. It looks like the dump of the product is here. There's the sell-through is relatively strong on the collector boosters. It's slowing a little bit. But my concern is Aetherdrift is right behind it in a week or so, 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever. So we'll see what happens there. I think after this, there's a couple month break. So we'll see. We'll see. Moving on to Aetherdrift, this set was Dead Man Walking to the Second Coming to now, again, no one really knows. So Aetherdrift Collector displays. Again, here they're selling for $300 or $219, which is interesting because at a distro they're somewhere between, call it 183 and 189 bucks. So this is really the price that you pay post release, if you will, even though release isn't here yet. But these boxes have been pretty strong. They were selling for, call it 280, 285 a couple days ago. Now they've come down to somewhere in the 270s. So we'll see. We'll see. We got a good amount more than what we got for Innistrad Remastered, and I think similar to what you've heard from other channels is it's just the fact that stores have ordered less of this product just because of the unknown, and quite honestly the fear that it's going to be Karlov Manor 2.0. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Some of the cards in the set are pretty strong. Special guest slots strong. You have the Japanese arts, the secret lair arts. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty solid set. Let's see. And, quite honestly, it was allocated for us. And, we probably got close to 20% of what we asked for on the collector booster side. On the play booster, you can pretty much get whatever you want at this point. So moving on to Commander decks, the second, third, fourth reprint of Commander decks across the board is out. I don't even know which one this is. Commander starter decks, Karlov Manor's out, OTJ is out, Bloomburrow. To my knowledge, Magazine Exchange is the only group that has Bloomburrow. Everybody else is sold out. Modern Horizons 3, Doctor Who, Ixalan's back. What's interesting is Ixalan came out in early January. They sold out. They were super, super heavily allocated. But I guess they're back now. So this is kind of the heavy reprint, if you will, just because these are actually performing extremely well. Lord of the Rings, Fallout, moving on. Yeah, just some of the boxes, play boxes. I know Rudy, for example, mentioned that Bloomburrow play boxes are on back order for printing, but these guys have them at $119.50, which is quite honestly a really good price. So moving on to collectors. Again, you guys can look at this if you want to. Moving on to collectors, Brothers War is gone. Aether Drift's here. Commander Masters is still available. It's going to be perpetually available because there's so much of it. Dominaria United only has the mega boxes. You have Innistrad Remastered, then Karlov and OTJ. Everything else is gone. Bloomburrow's been gone for a while. Duskmourn's been gone for a while. So it seems like they've done it right. It'll be interesting just to see what happens with these two sets because they've released 3 weeks apart. So moving to Pokemon. So the bundles that I have been talking about, everything was shipped and received last week. So effectively every distributor had their own special iteration of a bundle that included 151 booster bundle and Surging Sparks booster bundle. And to my knowledge, I think everyone included a bunch of crap to take with it. But there were varying degrees of price. One of the distributors had the pricing just a tick below retail price, and a couple of them had them actually at initial release price, which was really nice. So, we'll see what happens next. I have not heard an official word on Surging Sparks booster boxes, but quite honestly, we hear every week they're coming next week. So we'll see. And it'll be super interesting to see if any other sets come with it. Because, generally in the past, when there have been reprints of sets, especially with booster boxes, they're packing the booster boxes, they're packing multiple sets at the same time. So we'll see. Here, Prismatic Evolutions. I think the fascinating thing is here, and last week I believe they had the binder collections at a pretty cheap rate. The sticker collections here at $22. I think MSRP is $14.95 on these. So they're moving up a good amount. And, one of the things that I've mentioned multiple times is the economics of Prismatic Evolutions is kind of skewed because it did come out so much above MSRP and there was so much volume going through the big box stores. A ton of people buying them and quite honestly just flipping them almost immediately on TCG Player, eBay, etc. And I think a lot of that volume's almost gone. Outside of the one major seller on TCG Player, we're down to like 1,100 ETBs. That number was as high as like 2,500 about a week ago. And the sell-through is 200 to 300 a day. So I think we're going to see, by the end of the week, we're going to see pricing probably back in that 130 range for ETBs. And, that's really, in my view, the premium product here, especially with the promos they're selling for $10 plus and, a couple $100 in PSA 10s. So moving on, just what's available. We do have a couple EX boxes coming out and a couple on the market. Here they have Paradox Rift displays, Temporal Check Lane, Mabas Stiffs are still out there. Armaroog are out there. We did load up on a ton of these just to get some spend numbers up a couple weeks ago. Roaring Moon EX, which is interesting. Paldea, Obsidian, Paradox Rift. Probably 3 sets that I tend to believe they're still going to get a booster box reprint because there's still a little bit over a year till they rotate out in March, April of 2026. But if they don't, these are probably the 3 best sets to have right now, just because they're going to be comfortable per se the quickest. So we also have the Zacian box that's coming out. I forget the actual name of that, but that one comes out in March, and that is 4 packs. It looks like it's 2 surging and 2 journey together. Then we have the Charizard and the Iono Belly Bolt coming out in early April. So the EX boxes are going to be a good opportunity to get packs, depending on what happens with pricing or with restocks, etc. One other thing to mention, and I did mention this the other day, we did get allocation from a third vendor or a third distributor. 2 of them were a fraction of what we got from Surging Sparks. The third vendor is actually a little bit more, and I did hear from two other store owners where they also got a little bit more than what they got for Surging Sparks, which is really encouraging because our big distributor has not given us numbers yet, so we're cautiously optimistic. But it seems like the numbers are all over the place. So it'll be fascinating to see, and obviously all the big box stores are hammering this. I mean, I saw Blooming Waters this weekend for sale at Books A Million. I thought that thing died in like 2001. So the fact that everybody and their brother's getting into this because there's money to be made is, it's really going to hurt the LGSs, here in the near term, and we'll see what happens. Nothing's going to dump cold water on, the bull market faster than a mid to upper range sizable reprint of, Paldea, Evolved, Obsidian, Paradox Rift, and Paldean Fates obviously needs one as well. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, guys, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. We do have notifications on now. We did catch the notifications quicker than I believe the rest. I shouldn't say the rest. In time for everybody to get their orders in with Walmart. Again, it's just a restock notification that all the Journey Together boxes were in. So just kind of like, if you will, tells you, hey, look, they're for sale now, and you just go and you place your order. So anyway, if you're interested, again, join the Discord, and we'll talk soon. Have a good Sunday.